All right, good morning. This is day 2, I think, of our quarantine home study for the week. And basically, we're going to look at First Peter chapter 5. We're continuing to talk about all these shepherd metaphors in the Bible. And 1 Peter 5 is more of a warning to pastors as under shepherds, okay? You have Jesus as the chief shepherd, and a pastor or a spiritual leader like that would be a under shepherd, and he's going to give us warning. He's going to say, here's some things that pastors need to be aware of as their leadership role. So we're going to look at that today, and as we think about shepherding in 1 Peter chapter 5, it fits the context of what Jesus is talking about in John 10, the passage we're at on Sunday mornings, because he's speaking to the Pharisees and how they failed as leaders or as shepherds of the people. So anyway, 1 Peter 5, if you'll turn there, we'll get started. Okay, here we are, First Peter chapter 5. We're just going to do the first 4 verses. To the elders among you, or the leaders, to the elders among you, I appeal as a fellow elder, a witness of Christ's sufferings, and one who will share in the glory to be revealed. Be shepherds of God's flock that are under your care, serving as overseers, not because you must, but because you are willing, as God wants you to be, not greedy for money, but eager to serve, not lording it over those entrusted to you, but being examples to the flock. And when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive a crown of glory that will never fade away. Okay, so several things going on in this passage. Again, speaking of elders and overseers here, it's talking about spiritual leaders. Okay, so we'll kind of start with that. Let me get a little better angle here. Okay. Elder. He also says overseer. I think that's how you spell overseer. They're basically leaders. Right? Spiritual leaders. Okay, so these elders, so this is not old people it's talking about. It's talking about people in spiritual leadership. Okay, that's the kind of elder it's talking about here. Okay, and it's going to compare them to a shepherd. Okay, so you're going to have the chief shepherd, which is Jesus. Get my little beard here. Okay. Okay. And then you have under shepherds underneath him. Okay. They're also given responsibility. Okay, so they're shepherds too. Okay, so you have the under shepherds. So the elders he's talking about are these kind of under shepherds that are underneath the chief shepherd, which is Jesus. Okay, so now that we know who the players are, Peter starts off by saying, to the elders, to the spiritual leaders, I appeal to you as another elder, or another spiritual leader, as a fellow spiritual leader, and a witness to Christ's sufferings, who will share in the glory to be revealed. And it says he gives them some things that they need to do. Okay, so as an elder, one of the things they need to do is to be shepherds. Okay, he says, be shepherds of God's flock that are under your care. So, so underneath the chief shepherd, there are the flock of God. Right, so God's flock. Okay, so we'll draw some little sheep there. Okay. Okay, so this is the people of God. Okay, all right. So the chief shepherd leads the under shepherds, the spiritual leaders, who are then to be good shepherds to God's flock, the people of God. Okay. And then it says that they are under their care. So one of the things that these shepherds need to do is care for them. There needs to be a certain amount of care. They need to love them. They need to care for them. They need to provide for them. They need to serve them. Okay? And then it says, not because you must. Okay, so their heart attitude should not be because out of duty. Okay, so it's not out of duty. Okay, they don't feel like, oh, I have to do this because I have to do this, and these people drive me crazy. Okay, that should not be the attitude of a spiritual leader. It should not be out of duty, but it should be out of willingness. Okay, it should be out of willingness. Why should they be willing? Because God wants them to be. Okay, so it's God's desire. God's desire for them to be willing to shepherd the flock, not out of an obligation, but out of a service to the Lord, out of a desire to please Him. Okay, that's why spiritual leaders serve. Okay, okay, and another reason is not for greed. Okay, that it shouldn't just be about money, shouldn't be about what I can get out of this. Okay, you know, I love pastor appreciation as much as anybody else. I love getting a paycheck. I'm always surprised every 2 weeks when I get one. But we don't serve, we don't lead because of what we get out of it. Okay, spiritual leaders don't. That is not their calling. Okay, they don't lead, but out of an eagerness to serve. That's why spiritual leaders lead. Okay, they lead, they serve, not because of anything they're getting out of it, but because they want to serve. Okay, and then one final one he says is not lording. Okay, this is the word lording here is not like, you know, God the Lord, you know, like Jesus the Lord. Lording here like being a tyrant. Okay, so not lording over them, but being an example. Okay, so spiritual leaders need to be willing to serve because it's God's desire for them to. They need to be eager to serve, and they need to live as a godly example to them. Okay, and then the chief shepherd who appears will give them a crown of glory. So these good shepherds in the end will receive rewards in heaven, a crown of glory that will never fade away because of their faithful service. Okay, again, when you compare this to kind of John chapter 10, the Pharisees were not being the good kind of shepherds. They were doing it all for themselves, for their own glory, for the money and the resources and things that they would get out of it. They were not serving the people out of a heart of joy. True good shepherds, under shepherds of the chief shepherd, will care for their people, will serve out of a willingness, not out of a duty, and will serve eagerly the people as an example, the people that they've been entrusted to. So anyway, that's the thought for today, is the high calling of a spiritual leader. And so tomorrow we're going to continue this conversation about God the Good Shepherd, and we'll have, I think, 2 more this week that we'll look at before we gather together on Sunday. Anyway, hope you guys are having a great week, and we will see you tomorrow.